Against the New York Titans, the Bills start fast. Green from his 40. Throws complete to Tommy Riley, who laterals to Dewey Bowling. Bowling gets all the way to the New York 11-yard line. Then it's Green to DeBenyon for the touchdown. The final play of the first period, and it's New York's turn. Al Doro is the quarterback. He rolls out, fires a sideline pass to Bob Wren. Wren makes a great catch and takes off. 67 yards for the touchdown. In the third period, MC Reynolds has replaced Johnny Green as quarterback. He fires. Dick Felt intercepts for the Titans. And tight ropes down the left sideline for the insurance score. New York holds on for a 21-14 victory.
On Thanksgiving Day, it's hot dogs and Coke for the nearly 35,000 enthusiastic San Diego fans who overflow Balboa Stadium. Buffalo leads the Eastern Division and the Chargers lead the Western Division. The fired-up fans and the teams anticipate a preview of the AFL Championship game 1 month early. Former light heavyweight champion Archie Moore joins San Diego State's Mario Mendez on the bench as the Chargers start to roll. John Hadel connects with Lance Allworth, outrunning 2 defenders for a 63-yard scoring play. Allworth, the Arkansas dandy, led the AFL in touchdown passes caught with 13. Hadel and Allworth team up again on a 46-yard dazzler. The elusive Allworth grabs a quick pass. Dandy cuts back, twists and scampers through a whole herd of baffled buffaloes. The Bills, trailing by 10, try to get back. But Earl Faison storms through to throw Jack Kemp for a 12-yard loss. Oh, that must have hurt. With Buffalo leading after 2 quick scores, Hadel hits ex-Iowa Hawkeye Don Norton, who snags the ball for the score. Darryl LaMonica now in for the Bills, who trail 17-14, gets a rousing welcome from Chargers George Gross, then Earl Faison, last but not least, Ernie Ladd. On the first play of the fourth quarter, Hadel pitches to Keith Lincoln on the run pass. Lincoln spots an all-alone Lance Allworth, and whammo, 55 yards, San Diego goes ahead, 24-14. With the day getting darker, the stadium lights are turned on as Frank Bunkum, with a great individual effort, breaks through 2 Bill blockers to haul down LaMonica for a loss. Defense again. Watch this tremendous goal line stand by an inspired San Diego defense. Chuck Allen makes the stop. Allen again. The appreciative San Diego fans give a standing ovation of approval as the defensive team leaves the field. But the Bills bounce right back to the goal line. Kenny Graham stops Gilchrist and drives him back. The Chargers are holding again. Next, LaMonica gets a big push from Gilchrist and dives over. A 2-point conversion ties his score at 24 each. Then, with only 3 seconds left, soccer-style place kicker Pete Gogolak kicks a 33-yard field goal, and San Diego loses 27-24 heartbreaker.
Helicopters were employed to dry up the Balboa Stadium field for the Thanksgiving Day Classic between the Chargers and the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo scores early and kicks off. Duncan takes it in the end zone, and we get a close look at just how speedy he does it. Owners George Pernicano and John Mabey watch the Charger drive stall. But Buffalo's Jack Kemp also finds the going tough. Victimized by the fierce rush of Bob Petrich and George Gross, the Chargers regain control. Opportunity knocks in the second quarter. Hadel is listening, and he hits Clarence Allworth for 18 yards. Paul Lowe caps the drive with this belt into the end zone to tie the score at 7-7. Our ground camera shows us a Buffalo view of Lowe on that TD run. The defense gives San Diego control again, and Coach Gilman and quarterbacks Don Breaux and Steve Tensey look on as the offense goes to work. Hadel's pass, letter perfect. Jacques McKinnon makes a great catch for a 15-yard profit. The league's top passer is dissecting the Buffalo defense. Hadel finds Don Norton. Norton smashes to the 4. A trade of field goals, and it's still a tie game in the second half. Bo Robertson makes a diving catch at the 2, and it's goal to go for the Bills. A tremendous rush by Big Ernie Ladd puts Kemp on his back, but the Bills score to lead 17-10 after 3 quarters. Hadel wants to lead back. He flipped a short pass to Keith Lincoln. Keith breaks one tackle, takes off on a gorgeous 66-yard gallop. A rest for Lincoln is in order. As Hadel goes back again, John decides to leg it himself and heads for the goal. Get it to 1. The ball squirts into the end zone. Alert Paul Lowe falls on it for a touchdown to bounce the Chargers into the lead, 20-17. But with 6 seconds to play, Pete Gogolak sidekicks 3 points, and both coaches go home with a 20-20 standoff.
Thanksgiving Day is bright and shiny in Oakland's new Coliseum, and the Bills continue to trample the opposition. Bobby Crockett again gathers in a Kemp toss, this time for 52 yards. The Bills have come back strong from their disastrous start. Joe Collier's club has lost only one of its last 9 games, and with a 31-10 triumph over Oakland, Buffalo needs one more road victory for the division crown.
Despite their glittering record, the Raiders couldn't put daylight between themselves and San Diego. The Chargers remain just a half game back of Oakland, with the Raiders scheduled to face the powerful Kansas City Chiefs Thanksgiving Day in Kansas City. Opening in place of All-League halfback Clem Daniels, who was injured 4 days earlier against the Miami Dolphins. Second-year pro Pete Banaszak of Miami University proved equal to the challenge, as did Larry Todd, who backed up Banaszak later in the year. Fred Biletnikoff had a big day, as did most of Oakland's offense. The defensive secondary of ex-Nebraska sprint star Kent McClure and Grambling's Willie Brown at corners, and Roger Berg, Warren Powers, Howie Williams, and Dave Grayson sharing duties at safety, made a sizable contribution to the defensive effort that day. Brown and Powers each had touchdown interceptions. And the rest of the Oakland defense added to its string of outstanding performances. The Chiefs managed some spectacular offense, but not enough, as Oakland kept winning, this time 44-22. The Raiders had won 9 of 10, but
hard work began to pay off for Lou Saban and his staff. The Tenseys and Densons and Littles and Costas and Crabtrees and others began to put it all together. The Broncos won 2 of their final 4 games. At the close of the season, they were competitive. At San Diego, Denver put together a near-flawless 65-yard touchdown drive. Steve Tenzie rolls right and connects with Crabtree. Halfback Floyd Little nets 5 yards up the middle. Fullback Bo Hickey also pounds the center of the Chargers line, getting 7 yards. Little maneuvers well as he moves 10 yards for another Bronco first down. Denver continues to kick out up front as Hickey smashes for 7 more. It's Little's turn again, this time to the left side. He gains 5. Workhorse Little picks his way and moves the ball inside the San Diego 10-yard line. With a ground game well established, Tenzie rolls left and fires 9 yards to Denson for the score. Watch center Larry Kaminsky, number 59, as we look back over the final 5 plays of the drive and pick out the blocking that made the Bronco attack gel. Right tackle Tom Chakowski, number 78, blocks down to open the hole for Bo Hickey. At the top of the screen, Tom Beer, number 85, and Sam Brunelli, number 64, overpower their men as Floyd Little hits for good yardage. George Gedeke, number 67, to the left of center, straightens up his blocking opponent, and Little cuts behind the block for 4 yards. And Hickey, number 31, holds up a Charger linebacker, giving Tenzie time to complete the drive by tossing to the flying Denson in the corner of the end zone. At San Diego, some of the pieces fit, but the Chargers were the winner.
At the end of September, a team from Buffalo beat the New York Jets and then disappeared. After a long search, they were found alive and well in Oakland, where led by transplanted flanker Ed Rutkowski, number 40, they completely outplayed the Raiders. Number 83, Bobby Crockett's great second effort exemplified the Bills' attitude. The Raider receivers repeatedly dropped passes, and quarterback Darryl LaMonica could not buy a completion, as Rutkowski outpassed him in every category. After a short conference with Coach John Roush, LaMonica suffered one more setback and then finally managed to hit someone who could hold on to the ball. It was Buffalo's number 42, Butch Bird. His passing attack foiled, LaMonica took it to the ground, where number 23, Charlie Smith, gouged out large chunks of yardage. And ended up like Cinderella, minus a shoe. The score at the half was tied at 3. In the third quarter, Warren Wells, number 81, found the stickum, and LaMonica found him. Rutkowski kept the Bills' attack moving with his passing and running. And despite the continued success of the LaMonica to Wells combination, the Raider offense could not score. However, the Oakland defense was another matter. Number 43, George Atkinson, intercepted twice and ran the second one in for the only Raider touchdown, giving them a 13-3 lead. But the Bills were not finished. Rutkowski hit number 25, Haven Moses, and a penalty moved it to the Oakland 5, where Max Anderson bowled over to close the gap to 13-10. Late in the ball game, the Bills were on the move again as good runs by number 32, Gary McDermott, and number 22, Max Anderson, drove the Bills to the Oakland 3-yard line with about 3 minutes left on the clock. But now the Bills were finished as Rutkowski's fumble on a keeper was recovered by a relieved Oakland team. The Raiders' narrow 13-10 win must have caused some raised eyebrows in Kansas City and San Diego. The championship weeks of pro football are upon us, but the battle for first place in the Eastern Division is already over. It ended on Thanksgiving Day. The Houston Oilers played the Kansas City Chiefs, while in New York, the Jets called a huddle in front of the TV set, hoping for an Oiler loss. That one loss that would clinch first place for the Jets. The New Yorkers were not disappointed. There is a 2-year-old flag in Kansas City that tells you when the Chiefs were the champions of the AFL. But on Thanksgiving Day, the Houston Oilers were fighting for their professional lives against the Chiefs. The Oilers had to win the game for the slimmest chance at the Eastern Crown. Houston's early passing attack was outstanding, and they moved easily into Chiefs territory. The Oilers' ground attack was not as mobile, as the Chiefs' front four, led by number 86, Buck Buchanan, smothered the running game. Houston's passing took them inside the Chiefs' 15, but excellent coverage in the secondary and an amazing 4-man rush cornered Oilers quarterback Pete Beathard, and he was thrown for a 25-yard loss by number 87, Aaron Brown. After a scoreless first period, Lynn Dawson attacked Houston's strength, their pass defense. Number 33, W.K. Hicks, intercepted. The Oilers now had excellent field position, but again it was the Chiefs' defense that saved their scalps. Number 51, Jim Lynch, tripped Beathard on third down, and the Oilers had to settle for a 39-yard field goal by Wayne Walker. Trailing 3-0, the Chiefs again attacked Houston's strength, but this time with success. Robert Holmes carried to Kansas City's 46. Tight end Fred Urbanus took the Chiefs to the Oilers' 37. Then it was time for the bomb. Mike Garrett took it at the 20 and scored the first touchdown of the day. The Chiefs had a 7-3 halftime advantage. Trailing and unable to run against the Chiefs, the Oilers had to pass. Number 42, Johnny Robinson, picked off the deflected ball, and the Chiefs were in charge. Once again, Dawson went against the Oilers' strength, and again he was successful. Houston's defenders gambled on the interception and lost. John Pitts scored easily, and Kansas City had a 14-3 lead. Houston came back in style. Beathard threw from his own 25. 55 yards downfield, Jim Byrne grabbed it, and Houston was now behind only 14-10 going into the fourth period. Lynn Dawson coolly appraised the situation, looked over his potential receivers, and picked John Pitts, number 25. Pitts' assignment, a fly pattern straight down the sidelines for the insurance touchdown. The Chiefs held the Oilers for the remainder of the game, and thus ended Houston's reign as defending champs in the East. But if Kansas City wants to raise another flag in Municipal Stadium, they'll have to do it over the bodies of next week's opponents, the San Diego Chargers. Kansas City hosted the Denver Broncos, but started out by being a bit more gracious than necessary to their Thanksgiving Day guests. The Chiefs and the football simply couldn't get together. The usually sure-handed Kansas City mini-backs battled for control with the elusive Pigskin, and then had to contend with a group of aggressive Bronco defenders. Meanwhile, the Kansas City defense was having a few problems of its own with the evasive Quarry, and definite signs of frustration began to appear. Denver quickly recognized Kansas City's lack of affinity for the ball, and number 20, Charlie Greer, was there to hurry things along. While the Chiefs were busy with problems of their own, Denver was provided the opportunity to build a commanding lead. Bronco rookie Bill Thompson returned the opening kickoff deep into Kansas City territory, and Denver moved within field goal range the first 4 times they gained possession of the ball. Unfortunately for Denver, Bobby Howfield, number 3, misfired 4 straight times, and even the optimism of his teammates couldn't get Denver on the board. Now Bronco coach Lou Saban found reason to vent a few frustrations of his own. Given a reprieve, the Chiefs managed to tame the ball long enough for a little sustained offense, and Warren McVay scored twice from inside the 5. The Kansas City Indian pony Warpaint finally got some exercise, and the Chiefs jumped to a 17-3 halftime lead. Emmett Thomas seemingly clinched the Chiefs' 19th victory over the Broncos in the last 20 games by returning a Steve Tinsey pass 45 yards for a touchdown. But the Kansas City attack suddenly gave out with Lynn Dawson's knee. Dawson re-injured already tender ligaments, and the Chiefs limped through the second half on 61 yards of total offense. With this kind of incentive, Tinsey brought the Broncos stampeding back in the fourth period on passes to number 89, John Embry. Wandy Williams, number 29, sidestepped into the end zone, and surprisingly, the Broncos had crept to within one touchdown at 24-17 with only 48 seconds left in the game. Everyone in Kansas City's Municipal Stadium knew an onside kick was coming, but only Bobby Bell, number 78, knew what to do with it. The 31-17 victory kept Kansas City close at Oakland's heels. But the Chiefs' holiday joy was tempered somewhat by concern over their quarterback's condition. And for Lou Saban, Thanksgiving turned out to be a linebacker kickoff return and 4 missed field goals. By virtue of his strong performance against Denver, San Diego's Marty Domras had won the right to start against Houston's Pete Beathard in the Astrodome. Although both quarterbacks had star-crossed days until Beathard was injured in the second quarter, he held the advantage. With a strong running game interspersed with short passes, Houston gained an early lead. Beathard's touchdown run made it 7-0 in the first quarter. Late in the second quarter, he had driven the Oilers to the Charger 2-yard line when he suffered an ankle injury while scrambling and had to give way to Don Truel, number 10. And though Truel consummated the drive with a pass to Hoyle Granger, Houston's offense would not be the same with Beathard injured. Domras, on the other hand, was having trouble in consistently moving the Chargers. And while his desire was never questioned, his handoff sometimes came under very close scrutiny. No one could fault his fine touchdown pass to Gary Garrison. But with the Chargers trailing at halftime, Coach Charlie Waller opened the second half with veteran John Hadle at quarterback. On his first possession of the third quarter, he led the Chargers to a touchdown with passes to Lance Alworth and short but effective bursts by Russ Smith, who drove over from the 2. The Oilers, who had operated so successfully with Beathard in the first half, were unable to do so with Truel in the second. The Oilers saw victory disappear under a tidal wave of Charger defenders. Kenny Graham scored the winning touchdown on an interception that left several Oilers in his wake. Hadel successfully ran out the clock, and when it was over, there were so many smiles and pats on the back that it was almost as if he had played the whole game.